Hello, Secret Keepers. Some game publishers have the nerve to publish these big games that take up all of your shelf space. Some of these boxes are even so big that they're eyeing to be your next coffee table. Today's guest has a bit of a different approach. Mathue Ryann from Envy Born Games is printing games so tiny they can fit right inside of your fanny pack. What does he look for in games that he publishes? How does he rock out at conventions? And just how drunk has he gotten while trying to stay sober? That and so much more on today's episode of the Megamouth Studios Super Secret Podcast. Shh. Let's use our tiny voices today. Welcome back to the show, Secret Keepers. I am your host, a man who learned digital marketing through osmosis, Joel Watts, joined today, as always, by
Danny, more than a tiny bit apprehensive to do another show with you.
And today we are joined by Envy Born Games' Mathue Ryann. Matt, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm great. I like turtles.
Don't we all, Matt? Don't we all? We'll get into turtles and more, but I think today our main topic is going to be talking to Matt about tiny games, big conventions, and what we look for in your game and what to look for inside of your gaming fanny pack. But first, let's get to the question of the week. Question of the week this week. Now, Matt, we are humble. We know that we aren't the answer to this question. Working, retired, or past, who would be your dream interviewer? I imagine everything goes with that. You know, are you in a radio booth doing it for just radio, or are you on a set, late night talk show?
Wow.
Are you on the couch?
Man, that's a tough question.
Yeah, we like to start things with the tough questions and
Hitting with the hard ones early.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just get more unhinged from there.
So, alive, dead, or current interviewer, who would I want to be interviewed by?
Yeah.
How about Ron Burgundy?
Oh, there you go.
There. I don't know what his
count?
interview style is. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I should have put in fictional, too.
Yeah, I just added my own category.
Yeah.
There you go. His interview style is probably just talking about himself, I would guess.
I figured that, Scotch would be involved, and that sounds pretty cool to me. So I was like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in for that.
I can just imagine if yeah, I don't play tiny games. I only do big things. So to give me something else you got.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
I love Scotch.
I love Scotch. All right, Danny, do you have an answer for this one?
I've got two answers. I've got the
shooter.
answer for who I would like to be interviewed by and my answer for who I'd like to see you be interviewed by. So for my own personal interview, I'm going to go with Terry Gross. I just love her voice, and it's
sniped
been
her
very
from me.
pleasant. Yep, sorry, Joel. And for you, Joel, I would just choose whoever was in charge of the Spanish Inquisition.
Oh, goodness.
Damn. Now that
What a
my co-host is now moving into the territory of wanting my head on a pike, it seems.
I'm a little squeamish. I wouldn't want to watch.
Okay, well, Danny, you did steal my personal choice, my first choice.
Grand Inquisitor?
No, Terry Gross.
Okay.
Terry Gross is one of the best in the business. If you're going to get interviewed, you're going to choose your dream interview. You should choose the best. But if I'm going to not choose the best, I'm just going to choose the second best, and that's going to be Conan O'Brien. I would love to.
Do you have to be nude for the interview?
Why would I have to be nude for the interview? How many?
Just
guests?
clarifying the question, man. Just clarifying the question.
That might change my answer, actually.
What do you got? What do you got?
I got nothing.
Okay.
Barbra Streisand.
Barbara, was she known for interviewing people? I don't know too much about Barbara.
I mean, I don't know that she has to be known to be an interviewer to want to be interviewed by her.
To interview.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, look at us.
I could look at us. We're already being very silly. So, so folks at home, don't keep your answers a secret. Let us know in the comments who would you love to be interviewed by. And while you're there, and while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and like and subscribe to this video. Danny says that, here, let's see, for every 100 subscribers we get, I have to spend another night in Antarctica?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
In a
if
haunted house.
I don't even have the credentials for that.
No, definitely not.
We'll save the haunted house for another one of these reads.
Yeah,
Haunted
we're
house.
skipping the safety budget.
Yes, sir. All right,
You
Matt.
have a
Thank you.
budget?
We're working on it.
We're working on it. $1 at a time.
Safety is not going to be the first part. The first thing in the budget, though, according to Danny.
No.
Hey, Secret Keepers. Guess what? We have a secret for you. It's a super secret announcement that's coming live and hot off the presses here.
The show's ending.
No, Danny. Stop. We don't just get to make proclamations. We actually have a script here, so let me try to get through it.
Okay.
No, the show, the super secret podcast, is going to be at Comic Palooza 2024.
The Alamo.
No, that is in San Antonio. We are going to Comic Palooza 2024, which is May 24th through the 26th in Houston, Texas, at the George R. Brown Convention Center. This Memorial Day
2029?
weekend. 2024, Danny. It's this
24.
year.
Got it.
I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years if I'm still going to be with us here. So, Friday, show floor is from 2 to 8.
Are you recording from my bedroom?
Secrets. Show floor. Saturday, May 25th. The show it's going to be 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And Sunday, the gag doesn't work. The gag works better the other way.
What's the other way?
All right, should we start this over?
So we're not doing the announcement anymore?
We're doing the announcement. We're just doing it like normal.
Okay.
Straightforward announcement. Okay, so you can come out to Comic Palooza 2024 and see the Megamoth Studios super secret podcast. You can meet us live there in person. So if you're planning on going already, or if this has inspired you to go, please let us know in the comments. We would love to meet any fans, any like-minded game designers who want to be on the show. It would be a great place for us to get to know you, so we can have you on the show and just make the best use of our time. Any thoughts, Danny?
Do you think that, like, if something unfortunate happened between now and then, they'd still let us show up in person, even if it was like more of like a Weekend with Bernie situation?
I think that between... it depends on which one it happens to you, because I think Will and I could handle your body, but I don't know if y'all could handle mine.
Nobody can handle your body, brother.
All right, that's Comic Palooza 2024 Memorial Day weekend. Be there and meet us. All right. Well, so Matt, thank you so much for joining us and being so silly with us on the upswing already. So we wanted to get to know you a little bit better, as always. So I always like to start these interviews with the real basic question: did you grow up in a gaming household?
I'd like to think so. I mean, mostly like video games, to be honest. My brother and I were really big into them. My sister would play every now and then, but we also played a lot of board games as well. I was lucky enough when I was young. I had an aunt who moved to Germany, so we went to visit her, and I actually got exposed to Catan and Tikal when I was, I think, 12. And I actually have a German version of both those games with English translations because they weren't like really available in the U.S. And
That's cool.
I couldn't ever get anyone to play with them with me, so it didn't matter. But I did play a lot of like Risk growing up and had gigantic family feuds. I'm pretty sure I didn't talk to my cousin for like 6 months once after a game of Risk, so it got pretty heated.
Yeah, I haven't had the pleasure of having a knockdown drag out with Risk. I still have yet to play a full game of that.
What video games are we talking about? What video games?
I'm all over the place. I mean, growing up, I was all about the PlayStation. I actually waited in line, I think it was like for 4 days for the PS3 when that came out outside of like a local Walmart.
4 days?
4 days.
I had a tent and everything, man.
Did you get it?
Yeah. There was only 10, and I was able to get one of them.
Were you the first person online?
No, I was not the first. There was like 2 or 3 people ahead of me.
Yeah,
and I was there with like a couple
for
friends.
14 days. They had like probably days
Yeah.
on you.
I don't think I'd ever do that again, but
I'd hope not.
not at this age.
The
No.
days of standing in long lines for the joys of
couldn't just-
consumerism.
Yeah, I couldn't just throw away 4 days like that.
Yeah.
anymore.
You know, both times that I stood in line for a video game or something video game related, they were both for my little brother Nathan. Shout out to you, Nathan. But I went and stood in line to pick up a copy of Halo 2 for him for his birthday. And then
Nice.
I was the one who was in line to pick up the Wii. Now, granted, we all played the Wii, but I believe it was specifically his present. It was for him. You know,
Right.
in both situations, it was like around his birthday or around Christmas, and my parents gave me the task of being the line waiter. I
Remember
can't-
those commercials for the Wii? Those were great.
Oh yeah, we want to play with you.
Yeah, they would knock on doors. We
Yeah.
would like to play.
I love that. I love those guys.
Yeah, it was awesome. Great marketing. I mean, Nintendo's awesome too. We had an N64 growing up also. So,
Ooh, yeah.
and then now I don't really play video games that often. I have
Yeah.
a Switch where I'll play some Zelda stuff when that comes out, and
Oh yeah.
I do PC stuff mainly, if anything. But like I play Age of Empires 2, if anyone knows what that game is. But
Oh, yeah.
it's basically a game that's like 25 years old, but it's still getting updates. In my opinion, it's the best real-time strategy game ever made. But I tried playing Helldivers 2 recently with some friends.
I've heard
Yeah.
great things.
Yeah, that's just it's just too much going on for me. It's fun, but I'm getting killed by bugs left and right. I'm like, what's going on here?
I feel like this is like my personal take. It's like I was never much of a first person shooter guy, and now I feel like because of that, like everybody who plays first person shooters is Helldivers the first person?
It's like third-person shooter,
Third,
I guess.
okay.
But yeah,
Probably a lot of the same
you
principles.
could
apply.
probably zoom in.
It's like
Yeah.
anybody who's playing those games now has like 10 to 20 years of experience playing first person shooters. And like that's never really been my genre, so I feel like I to the point where I'm like that you don't want me to join you playing that game. I am going to be. Do you want your little brother, your 5-year-old brother, playing that game with you? Because that's essentially what you got with me. I'm just going to be like
Right.
I don't know. Like there's so many minute skills, like nuances that you don't even think about, like that you need to have. It's very similar to like fighting games. People have been playing fighting games for like 20
Yeah.
years. It's like they lock into a new fighting game and they learn it so fast.
Got those
Real-time
20
strategy, your go-to genre?
Not necessarily. I'm just all over the place. That's a game that I've loved since I was a kid, and I still play it. Like, there's still competitions for that game, and YouTube people that release content for it, and Twitch players. So I like to watch it while I eat. I'm like, I'm gonna be good one day. But
I like watching other people play games.
yeah, so
I don't want to break it to you, Matt, but I think that if you were, it would have happened already.
Yeah. I think basically now once you get past like the age of like 17, you're out of like your prime to be like an esports competitor now. Like especially if we're talking FPSs. But I did fire up the old Counter-Strike because they came out with a new updated version of it, and
Yeah.
I am as bad as ever. But I used to play Counter-Strike all the time as well. So
Solid.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense, and I love that real time. So I was a big fan of Super Smash Brothers Melee for quite some years. I mean, I would still play it
great
today.
game.
Yeah, but I just love that real time strategies have their version of that. The game that was like, this game is perfect. We didn't need to move on from here. We just needed to build upon this game, and I love that. I love that for the real time strategy.
Well, there is an Age of Empires 3. It's absolutely
Yeah.
terrible. And then they came out
Yeah.
with an Age of Empires 4, which I was really excited for, and it's just absolutely terrible too. They just did something right with Age of Empires 2, and they keep updating it, which I'm super... like, it was dead for a while, but then they started updating it again, Microsoft, and it has a really healthy community for a game that's 25 years old or however old
Yeah.
it is.
Like I
Sounds like
said,
they just need to remaster it,
Yeah,
keep
that's
the game the
basically
same
what
and
they
just
did.
update the graphics. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, it sounds just like you just replaced every time you said Age of Empires with Super Smash Brothers series, and it would have been the same story and the same conversation. So, like you said, you played Risk with your family. You were a gamer, like obviously old school gamer. What got you into your current passion, your current business of like indie style board games? Like, what was the pathway there? You were early on Settlers of Catan because of your family. Is that what led you to this wider world of board games?
No, not really. I mean, early on, I got I got to play that, and I liked it. But again, I just didn't really have anyone to play it with. So when we would play games, it'd be like Risk or Clue or a lot of the mainstream stuff. And then when I lived in Vegas for 13 years, and I was a bartender, and I just like was kind of buzzing one night, and I was like, I'm gonna make a game. So I made my first game ever called Don't Get Drunk, which is like a drinking party game.
Oh, that was your first.
Yeah, it was the first game I ever made. I self-designed it, and then I self-published it. And it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, I'm just going to do this. And I did on like a whim. And then from there, I started going to like local game stores and getting more exposure and meeting other people and joining different game groups. And then I was like, whoa, this world's huge. And it really opened my eyes. And that was like 2016 when I first started, I guess, getting into like the hobby side of gaming. So I'm still, relatively new compared to some of the vets in this industry.
Well, from our perspective, you're a vet in this industry. So there's always going to be new guys coming up behind you that, you get to be the mentors for. I mean, even before we've published our own game, people are already seeking out Danny and I for like advice and mentorship. So
that's
it happens
awesome.
quick.
Totally misguided people, by the way.
Yeah, very much so. I'm doing my best to send them to other people to talk to, basically. So that's kind of the genesis of this. You kind of wanted to make a game first. You had a great idea for a game, and then you got introduced to the wider world of gaming. So Don't Get Drunk was your first game, and I've seen what it seems like Candyland for adults in some ways.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it is. It's Candyland for adults, and then there's 4 different categories. So there's one that's like dare. So if you land on that, you have to. There's dare or double dare. So you blindly commit to one, and there's better rewards or punishments depending on what you do.
Okay.
And you can refuse to do a dare, but there's punishments. But like it might be like belly dance in front of everyone for 10 seconds, or rub noses with everyone in the game, or do a fake commercial for whatever you're drinking to the best of your ability, or order a pizza for the party. Like just really random stuff. So and then there's trials, which are like mini games within the game. And so like you would challenge another team to like beer pong or flip cup depending on what a challenge came out.
So
there's quiz stuff.
You got to be ready for this game. Like there's like equipment. Do you have like a sheet at the beginning?
Yeah,
it's like,
I mean, there's like there is like a fast play mode where you kind of skip the trials, so you don't have to do all the mini games within the game.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's an event for sure. And then there's questions or quiz, and that's all pop culture and like alcohol related questions. Because at the time I was bartending, like I said, and I actually used to compete nationally in cocktail competitions and stuff. So I was really into it. So
wait, like
it started
Flair?
As
like
what's
Flair
that?
style, or is this like
no,
Flair
not
style?
Flair, not Flair, like
like
mixology stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Dang,
and it very much started off as this is going to be an educational game about like cocktails and drinking and stuff, and then just kind of morphed into like, the hell with that. We're going to do all this other stuff too.
Yeah.
Do you think the cocktail game is still forthcoming? Are you going to do a mixology game at some point?
I don't think so. There's a lot of cool products out there related to mixology stuff already, but like when I saw, what is it? I'm Legends of Barcadia or something like that. I saw that game and I was like, man, why didn't I think of that? It's so brilliant because it's, you drink your drink as your health goes down, your character loses health. Have you guys seen that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks awesome. And I'm like, why didn't I think of that?
I've played Red Dragon Inn, which is also kind of like supposed to be like a faux drinking game.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
I don't know, 12 of those now. Red Dragon Inn. So many expansions for that.
Oh yeah, they found a formula and they stuck with it. If anything, Danny and I should be
100%.
looking at Red Dragon Inn as an inspiration for how we can expand X Seekers of Fortune.
Is Don't Get Drunk your best-selling game?
Yeah, I guess technically it is. It's actually, there it is behind me on the shelf there. But
oh yeah, great box, great typography. You did all that your design yourself, or did you bring in?
No, I worked with a an illustrator to help me with all this stuff early on. And then there's actually even a little expansion pack that adds more cards and stuff.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Cool.
But,
It seems like a great game to have like ready to go. In fact, I should probably get that game so I can hide maybe my habits a little bit better, like hide them in plain sight, if you will. I love the concept, especially the trials. Just the idea of mini games within a game that always tickles my fancy.
It's fun. I mean, some of the dares are a little crazy, so if you're all buzzing a little bit, it's a little bit easier and people are more willing to do it. Mm-hmm. It does really well with the right groups. Obviously, that's like, I don't bring that when I'm vending at Gen Con, or Origins or something. Like, I'll have 1 or 2 copies just in case, but it's not like, hey, look at this game. Uh-huh. But I often do a lot of beer fest events that are local or stuff like that, and people love it. And they're all, tasting their beers, and then they'll start doing the dares in front of me and stuff, and everyone's looking over. So it's definitely a good game for the right crowd. That one actually came out in 2018. That's when I kickstarted it, my first one ever. It still sells on Amazon now, and I work with content creators to just bring more views to it, and every now and then one goes viral, and I'll sell, 1,000 copies in a month or something, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
It'd be cool to do an event at the 405 Brewery in Norman. We do a lot with them, and they got great beer.
Yeah, I did a few events at breweries too. I mean, it's like the perfect setting for that game. So,
yeah, that makes complete sense. So that was the first game that you designed, and I know that you're a publisher primarily. Have you designed another game? Is another one of your games your game?
Yeah, so we had like a little tiny expansion pack, which I kind of showed, and then the second game I ever made was another drinking game called What the Pong. And this is just basically a variant on beer pong, and it's no longer in print. It didn't do very well. It was a learning lesson kind of thing, but again, I started to get more into like the hobby side of things, and then I started to kind of shift where I wanted the type of games I wanted to make and stuff like that. And I couldn't make any more drinking games because my liver was getting too beat up from all the play testing.
It seems like I guess eventually you have. It's almost like dress rehearsal. You can only play a drinking game with like water or soda pop so long before you have to be like, okay, is this going to kill people? I have to test it against myself.
First time I played Don't Get Drunk with a friend, it was just so Don't Get Drunk plays. It's like supposed to be 4 to 8, and we played it at 2. And
oh my God.
We got like a quarter of the way into the game, and we're like on the verge of like blackout drunk. And I'm like, all right, I gotta turn it all down a little bit. I was like, this is way too intense.
This game's got balancing issues.
Yeah, it's like you move, do a shot. Someone else move, do a shot. You moved again, chug a beer. I was like, oh my God, we're 3 spaces in. It was way too intense.
Yeah, I could see that. It's so hard to, well, I shouldn't say hard to calibrate, but your eyes can be bigger than your stomach or potentially your liver. And when you're making a game like that, it's just like, oh yeah, shot here, shot there. And it's just like, oh, you forget how quickly a turn can go. It's like, I've had 3 shots in 5 minutes.
I would like to say that Don't Get Drunk is not intended for alcohol use. Just so it's
of course
intended to be played with water.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like it's in there with the name. Don't get drunk. You're not supposed to get drunk. You're doing it wrong if you're getting drunk. But no, I have some friends. I have a feel like I'm going to be picking up a couple of copies for the holiday season, if not before. Like I know what I'm getting with you. Yes,
or like
sure.
What are the like Secret Santa gift or something like that? Maybe
Oh, amazing Secret Santa gift! I would say 100%. Plus, like you said, it's a game not for like your traditional gamers or your hobby gamers. It's a game for the masses.
It's more of a exactly that.
Because I know like there's a lot of games that I've played that if I were to buy them for the Secret Santa, that gift would be like not appreciated. Well, if you show up. It's not going to be Wingspan, but if you show up to your family's holiday party and bring Wingspan as a Secret Santa gift, a lot of people are going to be like, "What the heck is this?"
Yeah, you're gonna be like, "That's a crazy looking Monopoly. What is that?"
Yeah, exactly. It's about birds. Who cares about birds?
As much as the board game industry has been growing, it's still so it's still just very underground. Like people don't realize how many games there are.
I know.
But
Yeah.
it's starting to grow. It just takes time. There's definitely going in the right direction, but it's, still not there by any means.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, and in the sense of like, there's a lot of rocks being turned over, but there's still a lot of rocks left unturned. Well, I don't want to soapbox this or anything, but Don't Get Drunk is a great example. Sometimes it's about tried and true mechanics that everybody recognizes that they've seen in other games before with a slight twist. It's not about like refining, I don't know, work placement to a fine edge, for like the hardcore work placement people. It's like, sometimes if you want to reach a broad audience, remember that a lot of people haven't played every game that you've played.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why gateway games are so important. Brings a lot of new people to the hobby and stuff like that.
So you made Don't Get Drunk. You made the beer pong game. I don't know if we have enough time to get into the details of that one, but I do know. So after that, is that when you started looking to be a publisher as well as a game designer, and start the publishing?
Yeah.
Boom?
So I actually started working for a different publishing company at the time. That shall not be named because they were a really bad publishing company, and things got really toxic and bad. And I'm happy to be away from it. And they actually no longer exist.
So so it's not Hasbro. Not yet.
Unfortunately.
No, I have no beef with Hasbro. I think they're doing a lot of good for the community, to be honest. But
Okay.
yeah, it's a different. And it was the owner was like not the best person, basically. And anyways, it's no longer exists.
Okay.
And at that point, I was like, I left before that happened, but I was like, let me focus on MV Born, and that was probably. I mean, I'll have to go back and look, but probably like. It was either 2021 or 2022, and that's where like let me step into this role of publisher and take games from pitches about games from other designers and then try and bring those games to life. But while I was with that other company, I actually got more experience as well, obviously, but I very much was like, let me just do this on my own now, under the brand I already made with my party games. So
Where does the name Envyborn come from?
So, Envy Born is a DBA, but Envy is just a play on because I lived in Nevada. I was living in Las Vegas. So the state abbreviation is NV. So we just went with Envy. And then the state motto is Battleborn.
I thought it was what happens here stays here.
That's one of them too, yeah. So we were Envy Born Games. We just kind of played with that, and then there's dice in the logo and stuff too, and there's little Easter eggs and all that as well.
I was going to wait till the end, but since we're on the topic now, I had a question about the dice in the logo.
Yeah.
Why are they faced to 9? I believe it's a 3 and a 6.
Yeah, why are they wrong?
Wait, wrong.
So dice are supposed to be like each side adds up to 7, right? So if there's a 6, the opposite side's going to be a 1.
Yes.
Right? So my dice are technically not correct.
Normally, the dice, it's the opposite sides add up to 7. So a 1 and the 1 is across from the 6, the 3 is across from the 4. You have 6 and 3 showing. So you were saying that has some significance?
Right. Okay, so you can see 3 sides of dice and then 2 tops of dice. The sides are the birth months of my family, my mom, dad, brother, sister.
Oh.
And then the tops are 36, which and hopefully this isn't wrong because I'd feel really silly, but Nevada was the 36th state to join the United States.
Will, why don't you Google that really quick and then put right or wrong with a big either ding
Again,
or dun dun.
I made this company and game when I was buzzing, so like some of these things might be a little off, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Well, it's all it's the intention that counts, brother.
One of the dares and Don't Get Drunk is start a publishing company. So
yeah, exactly.
Plan to win.
Yeah.
Still doing it 6 years later.
Excellent. So you went to focus in on Envy Born after your bad experience working with a bigger company that just didn't sit well with you. You're like, let me do this on my own. So how was that approach? You're like, okay, now I'm going to start publishing other folks' games. I'm going to be on the lookout for other people's games. Like, just tell me how that all got started.
Yeah, so I one of the people I met while I was working at that other place is a friend of mine now, and we worked well together on some stuff.
Yeah.
He pitched me a game, and I was like, this is awesome. We need to make it together. That was Mind Your Business, which was like the first hobby-style game that I created, if you will. And we worked together on that, and we kickstarted that. And basically from there, I was like, well, I'm a new indie publisher. I mean, it had been around, right, but not in like the hobby sector. And I was like, I'm new. Nobody really. I do know some people in the industry, but no one knows Envy-born games. And I was like, how can I, build up my reputation or the brand awareness a little bit and gain the trust of the community and others? So I came up with the idea of like, let me do tiny games. And I was like, I don't want to just do one tiny game Kickstarter launch, because it's like, it's really hard to get like a high funding goal or anything like that with a really low price MSRP and all the expenses to marketing and videos you have to be made and stuff like that. It just wouldn't make sense. So that's why I was like, let me do 3 together, because then I can push 3 products. And it makes sense with some of the expenses to have like a Kickstarter video made that can be thousands of dollars, And from there, when I had that idea, I was like, well, I need to get other people, designers, because I'm not the strongest designer. I designed it. I dusted off my design hat recently and made a game. It's very rough. Well, maybe we'll work on it some more, but I went through the whole self-publishing thing, right? So that's a skill set a lot of people don't have or haven't done yet, or there's a lot of expensive mistakes and learning experiences that happen. And I said, let me focus on this, since I've kind of done the publishing thing route, and I'm not the greatest designer anyways, so now I take pitches for games.
Nice.
Yeah.
How many tiny games are in the pipeline right now?
So currently there's 3 in development, and then there's like quite a few that I'm considering at the moment as well. And I'm still looking at tiny games, and I don't ever want to overwhelm myself with too many or sign something and be like, I can get this out in like 2029 or something like that. So even if I like something, I usually let people know like, hey, like I like this. It's something I'll probably approach you again later on down the line, but I don't want you to feel held up by me. Like, you could feel free to pitch it to other people, or self-publish if you want to do that route as well. But I'm trying to still, I'm still very indie publisher, very much an indie publisher making his way. So I'm trying to get it so the series has more of a following, so I can do more games every year in the Tiny Games line, and they're supported by the community. This way I can do more games with designers. So.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes a lot of sense. And what? So you said you're coming up with a crowdfunding strategy to bring a lot of tiny games together and make them one big package that you were offering. If I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the first campaign was 3 games.
Yeah.
So it was like you could back one of them, or you could get all 3 at like a kind of a discount. Uh-huh. They all had add-ons as well, but it made more sense to do it that way, because again, like if you need to make a video for a Kickstarter, it's going to cost you anywhere from, depending on the quality and who you're working, like, $500 to $6,000, $8,000. It just depends on like how big it is. But if that's my cost, no matter what the game I'm doing, if I only have one that's selling for $15, it's a lot harder to get that cost back versus if I did a giant game that's selling at like $200 MSRP. So I'm like, let me try and put more games together. So some of these costs that go into running a Kickstarter campaign, it makes more sense to do 3 games together, so I have a little bit higher of a MSRP package deal offer. And then ideally, every time I launch a game, like I just launched Confusing Lands on my website, I did something off of Kickstarter just to see how it would be. But the idea is to build a community behind that likes the tiny games and wants to support them. And then, the next campaign will be 3 more games, but I have 4 other games that I can put in the all-in, so it'll be like 7 games.
That's nice. How did Confusing Games do, doing it launched on your website exclusively? Were you happy with the results?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it overall. I mean, I went into it obviously doing like a website launch. There's way less expenses to, I don't have to have assets created and videos created and all this stuff for a Kickstarter page. Still ran ads, still had a a short teaser video made and things like that. But I'm pretty happy with what it is, where it's at, as far as pre-orders go. But it's not something I would have done if I didn't have the tiny game and it wasn't like a lower production cost item. Like, I wouldn't really try this with a game that's like $30 or $40 or something like that. I only did it because it was part of a series that's already being well received, and I'm already taking it to the 4 or 5 other conventions I'm going to this year. So now it's just one more SKU I can bring with me to help recoup convention costs and stuff like that as well. And I know it's going to do really well, because everyone that's played it has loved it. There hasn't been a single person who's been like, this is bad. So I was like, I'm going to print this one, and just do the website launch, and yeah, I'm happy with it so far.
When you receive a pitch, you say, hey, okay, I'm going to go for it, and you agree with the designer, you're going to make the game, publish the game. How long is the development cycle from, hey, let's do this, to, we're launching on Kickstarter or shipping, I guess? I mean, those are 2 different milestones to choose, but let's say to get to Kickstarter. How long does it take you to get to Kickstarter from?
I guess it really depends on the game and how far it is. Like, again, Confusing Lands was actually print and play that came out in 2021, and then we made some changes and edited it around a bit and stuff like that, but it was ready to go. So that was another reason we didn't do a Kickstarter campaign either. But it just depends. I mean, some games design-wise are like really good when you sign them, versus some need a little bit more development. And then there's also just like my timelines for games I already have in, kind of queue. But I don't know. I like to run marketing at least 6 months up to a Kickstarter launch as well. So whether that's like a combination of conventions, Facebook ads, organic posting on your social medias, working with content creators, stuff like that. But it's quite, it can be pretty long for sure.
When you sign a game that you think needs more development, it's not quite there from a design standpoint, what is it that made you want to sign that game? Knowing that you had more work to put into it, what catches your eye typically?
Yeah, I mean, I think most games do require some development still when you sign them. It's very rare that you get something and you're like, okay, this is good to go. But it's just like you're playing a game. I've been getting more confident when I play games, like if there's something special about them or like something that kind of stands out, because I've been doing it a little bit longer now. Like, I've been getting a little bit more confident in being like noticing stuff or giving like critical feedback on stuff. But yeah, I just kind of get like, I'm like, ooh, this was fun, or it has like some really fun moments, or I see the potential that's there, and typically in that situation I'll be like, hey, there's something here, I'd like to work with you, as long as you understand that we need to develop this out more, and I'd like you to be a part of that usually. And that happened with a game that'll be part of the next Tiny Game series. So and I'm really happy with where it is now. I think it's significantly better than when we first signed it and we worked on that together. So that was like a fun process.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you do this this further development, you've decided, I want to develop. I want to publish this game. I want to develop it further. Like, how does that process usually unfold in terms of the process? Like, are you like play testing it in like Tabletop Simulator? Are you always working with people you're within driving distance of, so you can do face to face? Like, is there a rhyme, a reason, like a flow chart that you go through?
No, I'm not organized.
Well, we're very different people. I gotcha.
Yeah, but no. So it kind of just looks like I like to work with designers as closely as they'd like, or they can be in hands-on as they want, or as hands-off as they want. I don't mind them being hands-on with me with it, because I will like to bring their view and image to life. I like doing that with them. At the end of the day, I'm going to make the final decision on anything that has to happen, because I'm the one paying the bill for everything. But
of course,
I'll be like, hey, I have this group that I have several different groups I meet up to play games, and then I'll test something in a game specifically that maybe the designer and I talked about. And then they would maybe do that with their group as well. So maybe we have a print and play of the game, maybe it's a digital TTS version of it, and then we'll be like, well, what was the feedback we got? And we'll kind of share it and figure out, well, what if we do this? What if we do that? So it's a lot of just like, let's try and play that this way and then this way and see like how it feels kind of thing. So we've even met up at conventions to play stuff that we both knew we would be at as well. Like, oh, let's try out the new stuff at this convention. Like, let's sit down for 2 hours and talk about it. So
Okay.
just a combination of like everything.
Well, why don't we go there? Why don't we go to the convention and the because it seems like that's where you're getting a lot of your day to day or a lot of your business, making a lot of connections. Why don't we run through a day in a convention for you and for Envyborn?
Sure. So conventions, I love them personally. Actually, before we do conventions, can I get a little bit more comfortable real quick?
Sure.
You guys cool with that?
I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm just gonna
We
take
can't
off my
see,
shirt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
It's a little hot in here.
Okay.
It's all good. It's
So
hot
take
in
off
here,
all
too.
your clothes.
I told you guys I was gonna wear something a little revealing. So,
Ooh.
I like
La la.
but no, conventions are great. I like them a lot. I went into them as like a long-term marketing strategy for me. So early on, I'm like, this is going to kind of be a loss ROI monetarily, at least,
Yeah.
because I don't have product to sell. But I guess a basic day, I mean, if I go in, I'm setting up my booth, getting ready for it to open. I try and demo stuff, have like short little pitches, so people can get a general idea of the game. It's really hard to run like an entire session or something like that because, you know, a lot of people are moving. They have a lot of stuff to see, so you just want to give them like, these are the cliff notes of the game and how it works to gauge their interest, kind of thing. Recently, I've started to have people help me at conventions, so I'll show them the games and kind of, as they talk about stuff, maybe be like, hey, try this or that. Or a lot of the times too, when I'm pitching games to just customers or showing them, I kind of see what's being responded to and adjust my pitch accordingly. But yeah, I usually am really tired by the end. I always bring Ricola cough droplets because those save you.
Convention cred is real.
Yeah. Well, you lose your voice. You say the same pitch like 300 times in a day, and then you have to do it 2 more days in a row. So I always bring those. Always have some water. Some snacks are a good idea, or somebody that can run and get you some food, or if you have an extra body, so you can even take a break where you sit down and eat for like 30 minutes. That makes a big difference. But a lot of networking too. After the exhibit's closed, you know, you want to be going to different events or networking with people and having dinners or play testing stuff or walking the pub room or whatever it is. It very much depends on the convention too and what my goals are for it, because they have there's different things going on at different conventions. You know, Gamma is a very different convention than PAX Unplugged, so that's a big part of it as well.
For sure. No, I mean, like, I think what you said there, conventions are a team sport. You know, you can't be a one-man ship and expect to not crash into a bridge. So I wanted to ask you, though, because this is something that's on my mind. I kind of wanted to get your insight into it. Danny and I are going to be needing to build our booth soon. Do you have convention booth do's and don'ts that you might recommend? Like, what have you seen that's really impressed you, and what have you seen that seems like a waste of money when it comes to convention booths?
Oh, man, that's tough. I mean, there's a lot. Convention booths can get super expensive. I've looked at some really expensive stuff, and I'm like, I'm not quite there yet. My route was, as I've been going to conventions, I've been adding a little bit each time, basically. Like, one convention, I'll buy the backdrop for my booth. The next convention, I bought the flooring. The next convention, I bought some extra tablecloths, you know. So I slowly built mine up because it can get expensive, but...
How much should you budget if you're getting
I just...
minimum?
Like, if you just want to buy everything that you need...
Yeah, let's say
like
that.
I don't know. I think like $1,000 would be, you'd definitely be able to get it. You might be able to pull it off it with 500. It just depends how nice you want it to look. Like, I have some shelving that sometimes I set up. I have different tables, different chairs, flooring, backdrops, banners from, you know, like Vistaprint. So it just kind of depends on the layout you want, you know. And you can kind of source some of this stuff before, but one of the things I would highly recommend is getting the little padded flooring. A lot of booths do it. If you're doing a 10 by 10, which is what I still do, because that's like the starting level, and you know, I think what most people should start with. But you get the flooring; it's 100 square feet of flooring. You know, they sell it on Amazon. Some of it looks like a nice wood finish. It makes your booth look a little bit more professional, and also it helps your feet. Another thing that I need to get better with is getting comfortable shoes to wear while I'm at the convention, because I wear boots every time, and then my feet are killing me. My friend, she has this like very special brand of shoes that are super comfortable, and she's like, feels like, you know, way better. I'm like, I got to get a pair of those. So comfortable shoes go a long way. The cough drops, water, all that stuff. But I would definitely start with those. It depends on like your game size as well, but like I have a couple of those round tables. I also have a longer 8-foot table or 6-foot table or 4-foot table. You know, I often will set up my booth at a convention, and then after that day goes by, rearrange it for the next day, because I'm like, this didn't feel right, or this wasn't flowing correctly. I often adjust my booth, so don't be like stuck in it, like, oh, I'm stuck with this way. Like, I change it all the time.
It could just be the people. Like maybe one layout works really well in PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia because of the crowd, and like another that same layout might not work down in Board Game Geek convention in Dallas. Like, the people can like change the energy and the flow of a space.
It depends on your location as well. So like if you're in an inline booth where you have a neighbor on both sides, you only have that one front area for people walking by. At PAX Unplugged, I was on like a corner, so I had two sides that were open. So my layout was way different than if I was just an inline booth with only one side that people could actually like see my stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely. So that's a big thing to consider as well.
So so the floor, the backdrop, that might be like those are your starting things, and it totally makes sense. That I've been to PAX Unplugged, and anybody who had the floor, it just instantly seemed like, okay, they created this into their own space. So then I guess the flip side is, have you seen anything that's like, oh, that looks like way too much money for no benefit, no
corpses, things like that.
Is that a term?
And just like, I wouldn't think that you would want to bring a corpse to a convention.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Wait, what? It's got dark.
Yeah.
I saw somebody bring a dumpster to a convention recently, but it was part of their game theme, and that was really cool. You know, so I think
PAX, right?
Yeah, I think getting creative and doing unique stuff like that is really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. So things not to do. I mean, I try and do things that save me money, right? So I drive to a lot of conventions and bring my own stuff. If you have to ship stuff to conventions, most conventions use a service called Fern, and they have very expensive fees to receive product and deliver it to your booth. So I drive to them and I load stuff myself into my booths. It saves me a lot of money doing it that way. You can also buy furniture through Fern every time you sign up for a convention or whatever service that convention center is using.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you want like a chair, like 2 chairs and a table, it's like $450 for like folding, and you're like, I'm not doing that. So like I've literally driven to like local Walmarts when I go to conventions and then buy a table there and bring it in, stuff like that. So I would never as indie guys, I mean, if you're a big publisher, it's different. You know, you can afford some of these things. As indie people, I would not really use those services early on because they're just so expensive. So
maybe get one of those tractors that are the hitch on. What am I trying to say? The things that you hitch onto the back of your truck in order to carry things around the country, and bring your own tables, bring your own flooring, and just drive yourself to all the conventions.
That's a way. I mean, obviously that's more time consuming, so that's not an option for everyone. But even when it comes to furniture, if you go and buy stuff from a local Walmart or Target or something, that's better than renting the furniture with the service that's being provided. So you could still ship stuff there because maybe I can't spend 2 days driving across the country, you know?
Yeah. But that Walmart return policy, pretty sweet.
Yeah. Also, I would say never try, like, at PAX Unplugged, obviously you pay a lot of money to be at these conventions. I was alone on the first day, and that was the biggest mistake I made because there was so much traffic and so many people that I didn't get to talk to that were looking at stuff because I was pitching or showing somebody something else. And also, I was just so drained. Like, I had no second of, like, no break whatsoever. It was like conversation to conversation to conversation for, like, the entire time the exhibit hall was open. And then the next day I had one buddy helping me, and it made all the difference. So I'd always say have somebody there to help you is a big one as well. Like, don't try and do it on your own. It's really rough. Yeah. I have done them on my own. It's always so much better when you have somebody there, and especially if it's one of the more pricey conventions, you want to make sure you have enough people to touch as many people, like get to talk to as many people that show up at your booth. You don't want to not be able to talk to people when they should, have an interest.
You should be like the ideal situation, from what I've gathered, is you as the owner of the company should have people there who can operate that booth and let you step away for the majority of the time. Yeah, you might need to run the booth for like a few hours on end, but you need to be able to go around and talk to the other board game people, especially you as somebody who's looking to publish, who's looking for publishing opportunities. You need to be able to sit down and play people's games at a moment's notice. So really, you need to be bringing in like one to two other friends.
You could go that route. I think it depends on your goals. Like, I man every booth I'm at. I'm not at a point where I can really bring in two people to support it and just wander away, Yeah, and I want to be there meeting people as well. That's a great way to meet people. I do everything you just said outside of exhibitor hours, though, before it opens, after. And I'm very much hands-on and, like, the face of my company as well, or at least I try to be with all my marketing and, like, the silly things that I do. So that's definitely a route you can do, but it's not one that I'm doing, not yet. But again, as you grow as a publisher and you have more resources to do things like that, I think that's probably a really smart way to handle it. Or maybe you bring somebody on your team that all they do is take pitches.
Yeah,
somebody you trust,
somebody that can filter things out for you.
But it's your goal. Like, am I going to this convention to try and find my next game, or am I going here to I want to sell stuff, so I want to be in booth so I can be personable and people like me and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it just depends on your goals.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot of ways to take it, but and you're right. You want to be there meeting the people who are looking at your games and be the face of your company. But there's another way that you're the face of your company and another outlet for all of the silly things that you like to do.
Is there?
How's TikTok going for you, Matt? We always like to hit the TikTok beat here on the Super Secret podcast.
The old TikTok. I don't ever really talk about politics, but I am so amazingly mad that the only thing that politicians in this country can agree on is trying to ban a platform that brings joy to so many people. That's the only thing they've been able to agree on ever, apparently. So it drives me absolutely insane, but I love TikTok. I was very, I don't want to go to TikTok. Like, I'm not going to do it. And then before the launch of Mind Your Business, I was like, I need to try other stuff. Like, I'm always trying different things and seeing how I feel, or if they work, or if I like it. So I posted for 30 days straight every day, and then I just became more and more involved with the TikTok community. And I actually it's my favorite platform by far now, and I think it's the most welcoming platform as far as the board game communities goes by far as well. Like, some other communities are a little bit gatekept at times. I think TikTok is really welcoming no matter who it is. I mean, you can't just come on there and be like, hey, I'm here, do everything I want. Like, you have to, get involved and be commenting and meeting people. But I've made so many good friends from TikTok, so I'm so glad I'm on it. I like being on it, and I often I'll usually make my content on there and then recycle it to other platforms from TikTok or whatever I made on TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Highly recommend that you just keep recycling your content and you try to squeeze it as dry as possible. But it definitely seems like you're very active with the board game community, the board game TikTok community. So it's a great place to jump in and make a lot of friends. How many people would you say that you met on TikTok that you went on to become buddies with at a convention?
I mean, I've met so many people. Some obviously closer than others, or I talk to more regularly. But I've probably met at least like just from people. I'm like, oh, you're on TikTok. I'm on TikTok too. Like 50. You know.
Yeah.
You know, easily. But then like people that have become like good friends, where like I have their phone number and I'll shoot them a text every now and then. Like 30. You know, like
still a big
great.
number. Yeah. I can't even keep track of 30 people.
It's true.
Yeah. The doctor said it was a big problem. We'll see what he knows. Okay.
I don't know. TikTok is just, it's so fun. It's so welcoming. You reach out to anyone and they're just like excited to be there and want to talk and collab or do whatever. Like it's a very fun platform. As you guys know, I mean, you're on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we wanted to be part of a national security threat. That's what drew us. So
yeah. I've always had the opinion that
success,
the ultimate, the highest goal that you can achieve in creating a company is testifying in front of Congress.
Yeah.
And I mean, any opportunity we have to try to hit that piñata.
That is the most bizarre pronunciation of pinata I've ever heard.
Good job.
Yeah. I'm staying true to my Texas roots. All right. Well, we are on a bit of a time constraint here. We could probably go on talking about TikTok all night, but right now I think we should be moving on to the next segment. Now, this is a new segment, and I want Danny to pitch it to you.
Yeah.
Okay,
so this
new
is
segment.
Yeah, only been done twice before. You were the third person to ever do this.
Nice.
It is called 8 to Rate, underrated or overrated lightning round. I'm going to give you 8 different things. You're going to quickly tell us whether it is underrated or overrated, and just a brief explanation for why you think it is
underrated
either underrated
or overrated. And it's
you got it.
8
That's
different things. Okay.
All right, you ready? Number 1, cold plunges.
Underrated. They're the best thing ever. Start doing them immediately.
Okay. Working out while you work.
Underrated. I think it's awesome. Get yourself a standing desk and a little walking pad treadmill, and have your meetings while you're walking.
All right, this one's going to be controversial. Curvin.
Underrated by far. He is the best.
Yeah, he would be remiss if we did an episode of the podcast and didn't talk about him.
He's gonna yell at me because I hesitated, I think, a second too long before I said underrated. But I was trying to think of something clever to say.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna get a nasty text in a week or two. Merces, male purses, merces.
Are we trying to say fanny pack here, or is
you
a
could
merce
argue
different?
Yeah, is that a merce?
I'm gonna say that they are underrated.
Hell yeah, brother.
Because it's very similar to a fanny pack.
There you go. Large box games.
I think they're overrated.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of extra stuff in there that doesn't need it, and hype and stuff like that, and the shipping is a nightmare, and the logistics and all that. Mm-hmm. But I think you're going to see a decline in such large boxes and more medium to small size stuff from big publishers.
What is the most worthwhile large box game that you've played?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of good ones out there, so don't get me wrong. But
of course.
I love. One of my favorites is Dwellings of Eldervale. I'm a big fan of that one. So
I'm going to look that one up right now while we're talking.
Yeah.
All right, we've got 3 more. Las Vegas.
Las Vegas is... I lived there for 13 years, so... I think it's... Depends. It depends on what your intentions are with Las Vegas. If it's to go there and party, I think it's underrated. If you're going there to party and get crazy, I think it's overrated.
Okay.
Like, Vegas is... There's so much to do there outside of just the strip and gambling and drinking and stuff like that people don't realize. Like, it's an awesome place to live.
Yeah. I could see that.
Okay. 2 more. Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's is underrated. I mean...
Oh, yeah.
If there is any way... Like, if there's a scale, it should be above whatever the highest thing the scale is. It should just go through that scale, and we're still not where Buc-ee's needs to be. Like, it's underrated.
To the moon.
It needs more ratings.
Yeah.
All right, we're on to the last one here. Okay.
All right, this is big.
Jesse Ray's barbecue.
It's the best. It's underrated. It's so good.
Dang.
Have you guys had Jesse Ray's barbecue?
No, but
Did you just pull that from my Facebook or something?
Yeah.
How do you know about Jesse Ray's?
We creep around. What's
Shout
the
out to
forte?
Mike.
I want to say for the record, Danny creeps around. I keep it above board.
Shout out to my boy Mike, the owner. We used to be barbacks at Encore Beach Club in 2011 together, but that's his spot. It's some of the best barbecue in Vegas, hands down. And they have this awesome thing called the Fortress. It's a rack of ribs that they wrap around, and then they put pulled pork in it, sausages, waffle fries, a bunch of different barbecue sauces and dressings. It's like a week's worth of calories in one sitting. It's the best thing ever, and it's called the Fortress because our hockey team, he's a big hockey fan, and the Golden Knights Stadium is called the Fortress, so that's what it was made after.
Okay.
Fun fact.
We got to go to Las Vegas and do a video with you eating the Fortress.
And we can meet the owner, too. He's a good friend of mine.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I guess we could do that right before I go to Antarctica. I'm going to need to put on
feel
the
like-
calories and the pounds to keep me insulated.
I feel bad. I feel like I said underrated way too much.
Don't feel bad. I thought you
was like-
said
I had
underrated
one
appropriately for but it was truly the most overrated of them.
Yeah.
No, you did great. Well, so Danny, what was your key takeaway from our conversation right now with
Matt?
Yeah, with Matt. What was your key takeaway from all that?
So the thing that I think jumped out at me the most is just the willingness to try new things, to not like kind of get stuck just doing the same things over and over again, to kind of think outside the box, be willing to take on a risk, doing something that you don't think you're going to like TikTok, potentially. I think just in past conversations, we've talked about different marketing strategies that you've experimented with. I think a lot of times people figure out a way to make something work, and then they just keep doing the same thing over and over again and never question whether there's a better way to do it or what it would even be like to do something else. So I find it very inspiring that Matt's so willing to try new things and just see what it's like. So I think that's something we could all do. So that's my key takeaway today.
You know what my key takeaway was, Danny?
What?
Sometimes you do your best thinking while drinking. That's my key takeaway from this one. All right, folks. So we just want to thank everybody really quick who loves the Super Secret Podcast. Thank you so much for showing up for us. But you could do a little bit more for us, and I'm going to tell you right now how you do that. Just follow me on this little journey. You're going to open up your web browser or your smartphone, look at that YouTube page. There's a little thumbs up. It's called the like button. Why don't you go ahead and hit that? Oh, wow. Look at that confetti coming out of there. Wasn't that rewarding? Man, you are awesome. We love you so much. But can you do us one more favor? Just take, look to the side. You see that little subscribe button there? Just hit that for us, please. Oh, thank you so much. We love you. Oh, that feels so good. But it's not done yet. You gotta ring the bell. You know why you gotta ring the bell? Because that'll let us ring that dang dinner bell every time that our podcast is hot and fresh out of the oven for you to watch. So if you want to see every episode right when it's ready, ring that dang bell. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, okay. Now, folks, just one last ask. You got people in your lives that love games as well, or they just love great conversations with people like Danny and myself and Matt and Victor last week, Dusty, all these wonderful people, wonderful conversations. They want to hear them. Now, you could recommend the YouTube. Highly recommend. I like the YouTube. I'm a YouTube kid. Well, man, I should say. But just in case they aren't, just know you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, wherever you get your audio-driven podcasts, wherever they catch, you can find us. So get your friends set up on whatever their podcast app of choice is. However they like to listen, however they like to watch, just tell them to look for the Megamoth Studios Super Secret Podcast. And if you do that for us, we can't ask for anything else. We're in a fully committed relationship at that point. I mean, I guess we should ask if we want to have kids. All right. Now, enough of that. Danny? Are you ready for something random this time?
Oh, I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Yeah?
Yeah. Can't wait for the podcast to be available on C-SPAN. Hopefully that's on the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they need to expand like what they do. because it's kind of boring. Have you ever watched? You have to wait for like an impeachment or something for it to get good.
So for today's Something Random, we all have our own fanny packs. And each of these fanny packs has something unique inside of it. And so we're going to play a game called...
Would you say something random inside of it?
Something random inside of it.
Yeah.
So we're going to play a game called What's in My Fanny Pack. We're each going to take turns. We're going to be teams. And the person who has the fanny pack is going to answer questions about what's in their fanny pack. It's only yes or no questions, very much like 20 questions. And the other two people are going to take turns alternating. They get 10 questions as a team to guess what is in the fanny pack. And we're going to burn through this as quickly as possible. So,
yeah, because Danny has somewhere to be. So let's go.
all right, who wants to be the first person to put their fanny pack up for inspection?
Not me.
Okay. Joel?
Forgot you guys can't see me.
You want me to do it? I'll set the stage.
Yeah, please. I think you explained it, so why don't you go for it?
All right. So, Matt, you're the guest. You're going to get 5 questions alternating with Joel. You're going to work together to guess what's in my fanny pack. So what's your first question?
Is it edible?
It is not edible.
Okay.
Joel, what do you got?
Is it digital?
It is not digital. Matt, what do you got?
Is it made of wood?
It is not made of wood. 7 questions left. Joel, what do you got?
Is it meant to be played with?
No, I don't think so. But
so not a
people
sex
play
toy.
with things. Yeah. Matt?
Is it something we use in our daily lives?
Not generally. Okay, 5 to go. Joel, what do you got?
Is it meant to be displayed?
No. Matt, what do you got? You got 4 questions left.
This is not going well. I have anxiety is what I have. All right. Is it like some kind of like tool or something?
Yes.
Okay.
I would describe it as a tool. I think that's a good description for it. Joel,
I think I have a guess.
3 questions.
Okay. I'm trying to think of the best way of phrasing this. Is it multi-purpose?
Not really. 2 questions.
So it's a very specific tool.
Oh, so specific.
So when we're done with our questions, then we guess, or do we guess before we run out of questions?
No, you will go through your questions and then you'll each get a guess.
Okay. Is it metal?
There is metal on it. I'll give you that. All right, Joel, 1 more question, then you guys have your guesses.
I'm just trying to think of what. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Is it meant for a child?
Absolutely not. All right. So guesses. Matt, what do you got? What do you think it is? What's in my fanny pack?
I'm so bad at this. Metal is on it.
Metal is on it, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of threw me.
But not wood. We should have asked about plastic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't ask about plastic.
That's okay. Is it a tiny hammer? Wait, no, that's wood. Well, not all hammers are wood.
It is not a tiny hammer. Joel?
Damn it.
It's all on you. What is the tool inside my fanny pack?
I'm just trying to think of like the odds and ends of your life and like what you would have had like readily available. That's so unique.
Relax.
Not multi-purpose. I'm just going to say it's a Phillips head screwdriver. Why not?
Phillips head screwdriver. Nope, that is incorrect.
I thought it was like a screw at first, but
What's inside my fanny pack? It is a corn shaver used to shave corn kernels off of the cob.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
I thought you just ripped those off with your hands. You guys actually shave them down?
Wait!
Yeah,
Don't
you do it with the corn shaver.
don't put me in with him. I don't shave.
I just
my
rip
corn
them
that
off
way.
with the hand. What are you talking about?
And if you subscribe to this podcast, just one person subscribes to this podcast, Joel will shave his entire face with this corn shaver.
No.
Wow, that sounds painful.
Yeah. No,
All right,
I'll
who's
make it
next?
happen. I'll make it happen. Yeah, Matt, do you want to go next?
Sure. I just feel bad you guys can't see me. I forgot this whole time.
Yeah, that's all right. It's 20 questions.
I've been
I mean, as long as
reacting
you
and
don't-
doing all kinds of stuff, you know? But I kind of want to show you my fanny pack, too. I was really excited.
Oh.
We're doing our
God,
best
what if I
to
do
pretend
this?
that we can see.
All right, well, I'm holding my fanny pack up, and you
Okay.
guys can guess what's in there.
Well, Danny, why don't you go first?
Is it edible?
It is not.
Okay. Aye. Is it a toy?
Kind of.
All right.
Is it made of plastic?
Yes.
Is it meant to be displayed?
Yes.
Is it a trophy of some kind?
To me, it is.
These are yes or no, man.
Oh, okay. I guess technically no.
Technically, no. Okay, there we go.
I guess no.
Does it have a human shape, a humanoid shape?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it a bobblehead of some kind?
It's not a bobblehead of some kind.
Okay. Is it a? Is that too restrictive? I'll just say, is it a comic book character?
No.
Is it an action figure?
No.
Is it an award?
No.
That was a no, right?
Yeah, no.
All right. For my guess, I'm going to go with one of those tiny baby Jesus figurines that you get in King Cake.
No. Because it was though.
That's a really great. For everything we knew, that was like a perfect answer, Danny. Like, don't tell me you didn't come here to play. I love it. I'm
Let's guess.
I
Don't mess this up.
I'm having the hardest darn time thinking about what this could be. I'm just going to say a crucifix.
It is not.
Okay.
I'm going to reveal to the camera. It doesn't
Okay.
mean you'll get to see it, but it is
Eventually.
it's a gnome hollow keychain.
Ooh.
Gnome hollow keychain. Interesting.
A game by my good friend Ammon.
All right.
I hear good things about Gnome Hollow.
Yeah, it's awesome. They were giving these out at Gamma, so I got one.
Okay.
Ooh, solid.
Well, before we begin, I do have one. I've been meaning to get to this, and I'm going to make it quick. Calling these things fanny packs is such a degrading thing. It's like, if you ever want these things to be cool, they can't be fanny packs. I'm very much on a stump that I wanted these things to be rebranded as hip satchels. You know, who would wear a hip satchel? Indiana Jones, Han
Yeah.
Solo.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's the same person.
Well, yeah, I know he's cool, isn't he? But my tip is wear it to your side, like either your left side or right side, as though you can just reach down with one hand and just start fidgeting inside of it. It's way cooler.
Yeah.
All right, guys. There's something inside this hip satchel.
Okay.
What is it?
We got this.
All right, Matt, you want to go first?
Yeah. Is it something we use in our daily life?
No.
Is it made of plastic?
Yes.
Is it a tool?
No.
Does it have a battery?
No.
Is it meant to make noise?
Not meant to. No.
But it does. Interesting. Did you buy this specifically?
That's an interesting question. I did not buy it.
Okay.
To clarify, I'll even give you clarification. It was a present.
Man, this is tough. I feel like we're bad at this game.
It's a tough game. Just
It's
we're
not
playing
used in
20
daily
questions
life.
with only 10 questions.
Yeah,
Can
not
we just
daily
point
life,
that
not
out?
Plastic, not tool, no battery, not meant to make noise, but does, and it was a present. Does it have a pointy end?
It has point. Yes. Yes.
It has
Yes.
pointy ends.
Yes, I would say so.
Can it be used to write?
No.
Does it like display some kind of image?
No.
Does it fit inside a fanny pack?
Come on! Terrible question.
I am going to rewind time Doctor Strange, not Doctor. Does Doctor Strange rewind time? I forget, but you're getting
He
your
has a
time
time stone,
rewound.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's plastic. Someone gave it to you as a gift. Is it cylindrical?
No.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know. I thought it was gonna be like a pen, but so my guess is just a pen. But you know, that's my guess, and it's wrong.
Sorry, that's not correct. Danny, do you have a Hail Mary?
I'm gonna go with a some sort of plastic bracelet or corn shaver.
Yeah, I will say, you're somehow in the
corn shaver.
ballpark with a plastic bracelet. Here, let me pull it out.
Ooh, let's see it.
The answer was a fidget tool. It's designed to look like a dragon.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of those dragon things, huh?
Yes. So it doesn't so when I said it's not meant to make noise, but.
So it's like, is that a dragon in your hip satchel, or are you just happy to see me?
Yes.
There you go.
But my Aunt Amy got this for me for my latest last Christmas, I want to say, and it's just like really adorable. It's great to have on the desk. Just
That's a
kind of
great
pick
gift.
up
Yeah, very cool.
with. And yeah, I think it's 3D printed. I'm pretty sure. So I'm pretty sure that means it's plastic.
Yeah, I would say that's made of some sort of plastic material.
Cool.
Well,
Excellent.
that was my second guess.
All right, guys.
Only we got 2 guesses.
This is a shorter episode than normal. We would love to have Matt back to get a little bit more into details.
Yes, I want to come back.
For sure.
Excellent.
We got to talk logistics. And
Yes.
shipping and
Oh man, I got tips and tricks to save thousands of dollars for you.
Well, we're going to. Well, you hear that, folks? You need to like and
Literally
subscribe
thousands. Sorry.
and ring that bell if you want to learn how to save thousands of dollars. Come on.
Sorry.
All right, guys. So, Matt, I always like to end with our guests asking, where do you want to be found?
The best place to find me. Can I name 2 places?
of course.
Yeah. As many as you want.
Awesome. All right, so find me on TikTok under MVBorn Games, and then also my website at mvborngames.com. Pretty easy, and that's MVENVY, Born Games, not envy the letters.
All right.
So
All right.
that's it.
No, that's great. Envy Born Games. And we'll have that in the show notes for everybody, so you can go down below and probably click a link to go straight to his website. Danny, are we ready to make an announcement?
Yeah, I think so. So, if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, like Matt does,
That's me.
You can find us at Geek Out Burleson on April 20th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We will be demoing X Seekers of Fortune. We will have some prizes, and we will be happily hanging out with the community and anyone else who shows up. So check out Geek Out Burleson, follow them on social, and we look forward to seeing you on April 20th.
Yes.
I'm definitely attending that as well, since I live nearby and I know the owner really well. So I will be there.
He had great things to say about you, Matt, and thank you so much for hooking us up with that. But yeah, we're excited to get to go to Geek Out. We're excited to show people the game that they are going to be backing on Kickstarter. So if you're in the area, if you have any interest in X Seekers of Fortune, please come out. But with that, I think that's today's episode. Matt, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Don't forget, I like turtles.
Turtles.
I like turtles.
Oh. Well, that has been Matt, and that has been Danny, and I have been Joel, reminding you that you must start somewhere, so why not here? Thanks for listening. Theme music by James Hilden, produced and edited by William Wymore.
Okay, so for the second part of the Fanny Pack game, you need to swallow your item.